Oh, stop! Oh! Sit on the win! Oh! I know this is hard for you guys to believe, but the grind isn't infinite. It just seems that way. Also, I'm getting faster and more efficient. As you can tell right now. Brains! There is a light at the end of the tunnel. It brings me great strength and courage to know that all of my fellow countrymen in Japan are all grinding similarly just like me. I am not alone in the abyss. We face it as brothers. So you know how we had Yandere Dev in the stream for like 5 seconds, and I thought that it was someone who was just called Yandere Dev instead of actual Yandere Dev, and I basically bullied him out of the stream because I was memeing on him. I watched like a one of the many sort of rise and fall YouTube online celebrity videos that exist on that shit right now. So I watch one on Yandere Dev, and I can't help but feel like he's basically me, or more like I'm basically him. With the only difference being that you can have an incomplete manga that's still fully readable, but if your video game is unplayable due to spaghetti code, it actually is unplayable. Months back, yeah, he just showed up in stream for a short amount of time, and I just thought it was like a fucking meme name. So I kind of bullied him. He didn't start a Kickstarter and get lots of money. I don't think he does have a Kickstarter, at least according... When I was watching the YouTube video of him, he was subsisting on Patreon bucks. So I don't think he actually made any promises. He was just receiving money and then just going from that. It seems similar, but Kickstarter is a promise of something actually getting produced, whereas the Patreon is just like you give people money out of the goodwill of your heart. So, hey Leon Hart, thanks for the sub. I appreciate the support. Just like Yandere Dev, I cannot exist without kind people on the internet giving me money. And if there's people waiting for my previous meme content, we will be going back to that once I am done with this chapter 1, and I'm working on the storyboards of chapter 2. Certainly I won't be doing a release schedule where I just grind 40 pages without doing anything else and not posting anything for a month, which is basically what I'm doing right now. Chapter 1, you made a manga, you mad lad? What you're looking at right now is that mad manga. It's like a line from some horror. The manga that you speak of is what you are seeing right now. And like most chapter 1s, it has to be much longer than 16 pages because I have to introduce shit. All men who bend their will. Instructions. With a drow as the MC. Oh my god, not MC. Drow is white male human, as it... Not drow. MC is white male human, as it always should be. Because how can anybody self-insert in a main character other than a white male human? And love interest is the drow. Don't read the text if you don't want to be spoiled. I mean, come on, man. It's just one page. Only the absolute people who have way too much time on their hands, who tune into every fucking stream, have any idea what's actually going on. And even that, I haven't been doing the more important pages on stream, so they still are missing out. I read it when it's done. It'll be dubbed on YouTube and on my Patreon and eventually on Twitter. Is how I will probably do it. Twitter isn't great for posting long form content, but it's sort of the only option artists have right now, so. I want to read the pages without a video? Yeah. Also, you can't really have shit on YouTube and hope that will never get taken down or anything, so... Trying to figure out how dark I want to make her lipstick. The only difference between younger anime female and older anime female is if they're wearing lipstick or not. Thanks for Prego Samus. That was a commission. Straight up. People paid me a lot of money to draw that. And by people, I mean Prego Samus Coomers. Oh, that's another thing that I have similar with Yandere Dev. I too masturbate to images of Samus Aran in her Zero suit. Truly, me and him are unique individuals on the internet. Something that nobody else does. The two visionaries who find Zero Suit Samus Coom worthy. Collab with Yandere Dev? Collab on what? On Cooming, LOL. Much like the lone samurai, the Ronin without a master, who travels and fights alone, with only his blade to guide him. Similarly, I coom alone. No communal cooming in this zone. It wouldn't be a collab because he would make you do all the work. I wish there was a way for me to get volunteers like he did, apparently. Does any of you have the ability to draw backgrounds? Is that a thing? I'm not really sure how the manga gradient works here. No, I suck ass. I'm not talking about people who suck ass. I'm talking about talented artists who are willing to donate their time to me. Are there any professional level artists just sort of sitting around in chat for me? No, no. Define professional. In my mind, professional level artists, when it comes to manga, just like in general, is when you can draw something where people will look at the image and they will not focus on how shitty the image is and still be able to focus on whatever story you're trying to tell. You need to be decently well-spoken, be popular at the current time, and be willing to work with people who are just getting their start. To be honest, I don't think... Two things. A, I need to practice drawing backgrounds myself, so I can't be giving that work time to other people. And B, I don't think anybody online is at a level in which they're gonna actually be helpful. So yeah, good luck on that. So have you actually reached the point where you're asking for assistance? No, I'm not. Because I don't really think anybody can assist me. Like, I'm pretty fucking serious about that. Honestly, I don't even have a good enough idea about how to dictate specific parts of the workload to people for other people helping to be, like, helpful for me, you know? Do you still visit 4chan? I browse 4chan when I'm shitting. Which means I look at about an hour of 4chan per week, I guess. Why would professionals want to be second fiddle? I don't know, but Yandere Dev apparently had a shit ton of people working as quote-unquote volunteers on the game. No wonder you got those hemorrhoids. I said 1 hour per week, not 1 hour per day. Honestly, that was a underestimate, though. I probably spend more time than an hour a week shitting. Nope. I've done two shots at this method. I don't like it. See, this is why I'm saying that having even like volunteer helpers wouldn't particularly help me. Because if I was like a pro mangaka, I would understand specifically what I needed people to do to make this shot look better in terms of gray and whites and stuff like that. And I don't really know how to do that, which is why I'm messing around doing a bunch of different shit. Because my brain image and the image on the page don't match up. Read a book about it to learn? Holy shit. Talk about some fucking beg tier advice right there. If you're talking about my issue instead of like whatever you're talking about in the chat, then that's some real beg tier advice. here's some pro tips. As soon as you get above a certain level, when it comes to art-related shit, the various online help stuff suddenly becomes much less helpful because there isn't a clear answer in drawing and stuff like that. You have to figure shit out yourself. I tried to go to 4chan after you mentioned it, and it's down, LMAO. 4chan, of course, is the home of Anonymous, the most powerful hacker group in the world, so I'm sure that it's in a fight with NSA or something. Pro tip, don't listen to Twitch chat. I wonder what would happen if you were just like, I'm gonna beat Dark Souls, or like a new Dark Souls game based entirely on following directly at the advice of Twitch chat. We basically had this with the Pokemon. Does anyone remember this? Twitch had it had Pokemon, what was it, Red or something, where you could play the Pokemon game by typing commands into Twitch chat, and it took them like, what, 500 hours, but they actually fucking beat the game, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, Twitch play Pokemon, that's what I'm talking about. The fact that it actually got beaten after a while is crazy. I remember, yeah. Twitch hasn't had anything interesting, cool, and stuff like that in a while, unfortunately. There was a whole lore story made, yes. People got way too invested in that shit. It shows you that 1,000 monkeys with typewriters eventually can write the works of William Shakespeare. Considering the average IQ level of a Twitch poster is basically the same as a monkey with a typewriter. George R. R. Martin wrote Elden Ring. I can't tell if that was a sarcastic comment or not. George R. R. Martin most definitely did not write Elden Ring. He probably provided like 5 index cards worth of notes being like, excuse me, Miyazaki-san. Yes, the chosen undead plot, it is very original. It was not. It was the 5th time Miyazaki had written the chosen undead plot. But perhaps, the story could benefit from, some incest? And Miyazaki was like, bravo, Mr. Martin, bravo. Why did I not think of incest before? Yes. Perhaps the gods, yes, they are corrupt just like the humans. And also perhaps a little incest? Yes. Perhaps we should have a character who eats his own shit and rapes everything. Yes. And Miyazaki was like, yes. It's all coming together. Wait, there's incest in Elden Ring? Is there not incest? Isn't everyone after the bussy? Isn't that literally the content of the DLC? Is, once upon a time, in the land of the gods, there was an extremely hot boy, and everybody wanted to taste the bussy. and then shit happened, and now everyone's fucking insane, as usual. Self-cest and also gay incest mod, yes. The loathsome dung eater is R.R. Martin's brainchild. If there's anything that you can say, like, damn, that author is really leaving his stamp on this work of fiction, it's definitely the part where a character does a lot of shit eating and raping and stuff. You're like, ah, yes. From the brilliant mind of George R.R. Martin, the shitting and raping character. Guess you gotta go somewhere after Twincest. I mean, I feel like Twincest isn't actually much of a leap narratively, as much as some people might think it is. Considering all the twins that I met in my life IRL were all like fucking weird as hell. I've never met any twins. Did they finish each other's sentences or what? Yeah, basically. All the twins I met seemed way more interested in their own like little closed social circle of just them than like socializing with other people. Like even when they were socializing with other people, you just sort of got the impression that they were gonna leave so they could be with themselves. Same rash guard, same snorkel gear, same everything, yeah. In fact, I haven't seen any twins who really were like, yeah, we're twins, but we want to emphasize the fact that we're different human beings. They're all like, nah, we're just gonna do like the same shit together all the time. Makes it easier, I guess? Who knows? The only way for me to truly understand the connection between two twins is, of course, to tie both of them up and torture them and see how torturing one of them has a pain response in the other. Hashtag just Joker things. If I ever have twins, my wife will have a really hard time convincing me to not name them Dante and Virgil. Please, this guy's wife, if you're watching this stream right now, don't let this fucking loser name his twins Dante and Virgil. They deserve a better life than that. Please stop this fucking nerd. It's almost as bad as that family who named their children Dovahkiin so they could get a free copy of Skyrim or whatever the fuck that was. I can't remember the specifics. Was it a free copy of Skyrim or something better? Was it like all Bethesda games going forward into the future or something? I can't remember specifically what they got. Kagami and Tsukasa, Jesus fucking Christ. I wonder how that kid is doing. I hope he's changed his name to like Derek or something by now. Calm down, I'll need to have a wife first. See, usually I would just automatically assume that anybody who is enough of a loser to turn into this stream is also a kissless virgin, perma virgin forever and ever. Except we do have a good percentage of people who actually has like wife and kids. It turns out that having sex and even getting married and even having children does not prevent you from also being a cringe human being. We've only banned a few people from our Discord server for being extremely cringe, and one of them was being extremely cringe about having a wife and kids. So, yeah, it's really, it's kind of irrelevant. People who think that sex will change their personality, you're wrong. And also people who think that having kids will make them into like a better, more adult person are also wrong. If that was true, we wouldn't have all these extremely horrible parents who fucking let their babies die by ignoring them in a hot car or something for hours and shit like that. It turns out that the only thing that gives you the ability to be a parent is your ability to ejaculate on a woman's egg or whatever. And it has nothing to do with your mental makeup. You have a Discord. Why isn't it linked here? It's some kind of sub reward. I only have it so that people can commission me and shit. You have to link your Twitch or Patreon account and give me money, and then you can get into the Discord. This allows us to not have to worry about a shit ton of child porn being posted. I have way too many followers on Twitter to just be like, here's a Discord, everybody can come in, so... I might be a virgin, but I think I'm pretty mature. Disregard the twin thing. I mean, I don't even know what it means to be mature. I'm setting the bar pretty low when it comes to maturity. I'm setting it somewhere around not letting your child die or not name your child Dovahkiin. He'd my life a lot harder. I mean, realistically, if I just had like a Discord invitation link on my Twitter page with like close to 400,000 followers, I wonder what percentage of them would actually come into Discord. Even if like 0.1% came in, that's still probably like 500 child porn images that need to get deleted and reported to the FBI or something per week, so gotta keep out the weirdos. It's not even the weirdos, it's just the people that are gonna make the mod's life more difficult. What's the Discord group? What is a Discord group? Anyways, it's a people who give me money thing. If you have your Twitch linked to Discord and then you sub to me even once, you should get a bot to send you an auto invite. It's not particularly a very helpful Discord unless you want to commission me. Have you banned anyone yet? I believe, what, 2 people have been banned from Discord, or is it just 1? Yeah, 2. I don't ever want to have to moderate anything, let alone run a Discord. Especially, I don't want to have to moderate something where if I'm not paying attention and I come back a month later and it's become like a location where people are just sharing their endless collection of illegal photography of minors in sexual situations or whatever, and then FBI-san shows up at my doorstep and is like, I heard that you were running a pedo ring or some shit. Yeah, I don't want that to happen. So yeah, you have to moderate shit, which is way too much work. The fucker keeps talking about gooning in general. It's okay to be horny in general if it's ironic. But you're only allowed like 3 or 4 messages of ironic horniness, and then you have to shut the fuck up. It's like the meme of guys announcing they're about to jack off to the whole Discord. I don't think that's a meme. I think that's what people legitimately do all the time, unfortunately. He literally only posts when he's gooning. He's being the digital equivalent of the guy in a trench coat who needs bystanders watching him to ejaculate, I guess. If he was a boomer that was born before the internet, he would just be the guy who would just walk up to women and pull down his pants and just start masturbating furiously. Which apparently was a pretty common thing if you were like in New York City in like 1970 or something. Women would just be like, oh, there's another one. I always thought the trench coaters were people selling illicit things, but no, it's flashers. Yeah, they got some weapons in there, specifically their cock. Internet porn has probably reduced flashing a lot. I mean, think about this. If you were born in 1940, for the good portion of your life, you had to jack off to like a titty mag or go to a public theater and jack off communally with all the other horny guys, or you had to be a flasher in the street and jack off to real women walking around. What a time to be alive. The Dark Ages, glad those days are behind us. I mean, it's, anybody who's like, pornography is creating more sexual deviance are just ignoring the fact that, you know, crime rates have gone down by a shit ton since that time. Same thing for all like the BBC specials on Japan being like, here we are in Japan, where we can see how the perverted average Japanese salaryman has access to hardcore hentai, anime, pornography in his local convenience store. No wonder Japan is full of so many sexual predators. Meanwhile, Japan's like crime rate is 1/50th of UK or whatever. BBC hating on Japan for no reason at all. I'm sure they get pretty good viewership numbers for it. Meanwhile, Britain is full of rapists. Didn't Britain literally have like a Pakistani immigrant rape gang that was left alone for like years and years and years or something because it would be politically incorrect for the police to target them because they were Pakistani or something like that? That's sort of when you know that the political correctness has gone too far. The Telford case, I don't follow how shitty a country Britain is because it's really not my issue. They still do, LMAO. Maybe having a shit ton of immigration from countries famous for being full of a gigaton of rape incidents is probably a bad idea. I'm glad I watched Funny Artist Guy on Twitch instead of the news. The news isn't exactly fun nowadays. But then again, it never was. A society without easy access to porn ends up looking like India. Do Indians not have easy access to porn though? I can't imagine that any country at this point with the internet and cell phones doesn't have easy access to porn. Like if you go on a documentary to like the deepest jungle of Africa, you'll still have like a fucking tribesman wearing a loincloth with a spear being like, yeah, the cell phone service out here is, it's kind of spotty. Here, wait a second while I fucking murder this monkey with my spear. After that, I'm gonna go on Pornhub just like you. They get porn, they just have to jump through hoops. I think, the people who are giga rapists in India probably still look at porn, but it isn't enough to satiate their insatiable rapist urges or whatever, so... I hope you have some African fans. I mean, I know there's someone who apparently is from Venezuela, which is in a way worse off situation than Africa, so... Just thinking of African tribesmen taking Instagram photos of their hunts. I do know that a lot of the quote-unquote traditional tribe lifestyle is just there for photo ops nowadays in Africa. Like, there's tribesmen who, like, they dress in, like, you know, with the fucking Zulu spears or whatever. And they do that entirely for the nature programs who want to show up and, like, give them money and stuff. Ever met a Chikan in Japan? No, but one of my classmates in my Japanese high school kept on grabbing my cock. Hashtag just boy things. So, yeah, it's not that weird. India has a female deficit. Does it? I thought there was China. India gender ratio 929 girls per 1,000 boys. So it's like a 10% reduction. I think it's more like probably a caste thing. China is also about a 10% distribution difference as well, actually. It's not as dramatic as you might think. It's not like 70-30 or something. But on the other hand, even with like a 50-50 distribution ratio, if it's men that are more... See, the thing is that women only want to have sex with the top level Giga Chad who has sex with multiple women. So like the bottom, you know, 20% of men don't get any sex at all. And then that's with 50-50 ratio. So even like a slight skewing in the numbers can make that way worse, is my theory. Simply too many men. Just from a biological standpoint, we can have way fewer men and the human race will be fine. But if the women start dying off, we're kind of fucked. Until we invent artificial uterus and stuff, or figure out a way in which one woman can pump out like 30 babies easily, then this will never change. No one wants another world war, so get used to it. I mean, people just aren't having kids in general. Even if they're married and are free to have kids. Who will do all the cooking and cleaning? Cooking and cleaning is overrated. We'll just drink Soylent and then just like, I don't know, shit in a plastic bag and then throw it in the river. Surely that will not lead to like a public health safety concern. Maybe one day humanity will not need men at all anymore. I'm sick of all this sort of one day humanity won't need this or one day humanity will be that. We're being told that humanity won't need fiat money for the last 5 years, and then people are like, oh wait, crypto is fucking bullshit. I'll wait for the technology to actually become relevant before I'm like, oh, this thing is real. Besides, having kids isn't the difficult part. It's raising them that's hard. Having kids is a few months in a womb and then spitting that shit out. But raising the kid is like 18 years of your life, probably even maybe more. What we really need is, I don't know, some AI bot that takes all childcare duties, takes over childcare duties. But just like other things in AI, it's probably easier to just, instead of having a computer program do it, just have the Latino immigrants do it. Juanita is a way better AI bot than the AI bot can actually be, so 18 years to raise a waste of space. Yeah, that's the thing. Boomers were just like, whatever, I'm gonna ignore my kid. And a lot of the kids turned out fine. Some of them turned out to be like extremely fucked up human beings, but the boomers didn't care. I was watching this pretty famous documentary called Jiro Dreams of Sushi about like the best sushi chef in Japan or whatever. And he was like, my father was he was like a river boatsman, and then they built a bridge or something, so he lost his job, and all he did was sit around at home and get drunk. And when I graduated from middle school, he basically kicked me out of the house and sent me to like a sushi chef to be an apprentice, and he was like, good luck, because you're not allowed to come back to the house. And I was just like, yeah, this is boomer parenting right here. I guess it's pre-boomer parenting. It's like 1920s parenting, basically. Just be an alcoholic who takes zero responsibility for your children's future, and they can still grow up and become a decent human being. Back in the olden days, 90% of the stuff that people were doing back in the olden days were just people being raging alcoholics, to be honest. They were just like, what if I just spent my entire life being drunk? And society still was somewhat functional, shockingly. Wasn't much else to do, I guess. Yes, we're not like them. Now we have more productive stuff, like looking at endless amount of pornography on the internet. Thank God. We can also waste our life playing Counter-Strike and never getting out of silver. That's another option. Humanity is evolving, guys. We have alcohol and porn, and a lot of legalized weed. What's Counter-Strike? It's a game in which you aim your cursor at the edge of a wall for 5 minutes, hoping someone will poke their head out, and then you click and hope that you hit their head. Basically. I haven't played any Counter-Strike, but from watching some Counter-Strike tournaments, I know how it works. Visa and MasterCard approved porn. Fucking Christians ruining everything for everybody as usual. How is that the fault of Christians? Am I missing something? In this case, the groups that are pressuring Visa and MasterCard to have only approved porn are specifically Christian groups. Although we've had some sort of liberal left-wing version of anti-sex ideology in America in the last few years, it's still most of the anti-sex shit usually comes from far-right Christianity. Puritans, the traditional Puritans that our country's values were founded on. Christianity in USA is wild. Christianity in USA is the Christians that were not allowed to be in their original country because they were too fucking cringe. And it's only been like 200 years since then. So yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. Officially, it's an anti-child porn, revenge porn, sex slavery campaign, but they're pretty keen on targeting everything that's horny. I mean, that's just like the gateway into their argument, right? It's very hard for somebody to be like, I'm pro-child sex trafficking. So then they just use that as a front to basically target everything. I mean, there's no way that argument holds up if you're going after Japanese porn sites that only deal with media of drawn images of anime characters. But at the end of the day, pornography is one of those things where Coomers have to stick up for each other because nobody in the mainstream media or quote-unquote respectable society is ever going to stick their neck out for sex workers in any kind of format, whether it's prostitutes or, artists or whatever. Even though everybody looks at porn and jacks off to it, everybody wants to virtue signal about how they're different and they're special and they're pure, better off than everyone else, especially the fucking politicians and, You know, the rich people at the top who get to influence credit card company, they're gonna be like, nah, I don't look at porn. Nah, I'm not horny. I'm definitely not jacking it off to 700 terabytes of gay porn. So we Coomers have to stick out for each other. At the end of the day, as much as we meme on OnlyFans girls and pussy in bio and all that stuff, we're in the same boat together. On a lighter note, what size boobs do you need to make a blump sound effect? Would B cups be enough, or do you need double Ds? Istrixia, do you have any opinion on that? I wouldn't know because I don't have boobs. Oh, she's already answered. Of course she would be there to answer. As someone who has Bs, at least a C. Sag. Hello, fellow ample bosom enjoyers. The most endangered minority, guys who like big titties. What about the boobies that go slosh? See, this is why I wish I was writing in Japanese, because I would have such a better amount of options for various boob onomatopoeia. In fact, you can make up a lot of good onomatopoeia noises in Japanese that just sound obvious what it's talking about, whereas English, you can sort of make up onomatopoeia, but it's not great. English is mega limited and blunt. As someone who only speaks English and Japanese, Japanese isn't a very good language for like scientific stuff and being specific and shit. It's very good at like novels and expressiveness for more like media related shit. There's a lot of tools that Japanese has that English doesn't have. Japanese is a much more flexible language than English, and you can get away with having much more limited information in your sentences and stuff, and allowing people to infer a lot of shit. There's a lot of inferring that goes on in Japanese if you write well. Does Japanese have a word for every sound? Japanese is a phonetic language, so you can make up onomatopoeia. There's like widely used onomatopoeia for a lot of different things that everyone knows this onomatopoeia means something. But in manga, because you have the visual image accompanying whatever sound you're writing down on the page, you can just straight up make up new shit and people will be able to understand what's going on. JoJo is famous for this, for example. JoJo has a lot of onomatopoeia that only exist in JoJo. Like, what would the English onomatopoeia for Dio kissing, what's her name? Eileen? I forgot her name. JoJo's girlfriend. in part 1. What would that be in English? There is no good English word for it, but in Japanese it's Zukyun! It's not smooch. See, smooch is the sound of the actual kiss, whereas Zukyun indicates much more than that. It actually semi-indicates that she might be enjoying it a little bit. It indicates like impact and stuff. See, none of you can understand the complexity of Japanese because it's a feel thing. This is why I am actually at bilingual level Japanese speaking, even though if I would like read a newspaper and stuff, there would be a bunch of kanji where I'm like, wait, how the fuck do I read this kanji? What the fuck is this? Because I can kind of like feel the Japanese. I have a feeling for it. Kyun is kind of swoony. Kyun is a word often used to indicate the constricting of objects. So if you read hentai, there's a lot of scenes in which they have the kyun onomatopoeia above the female's womb to indicate that her sexual organs are contracting when she sees the attractive male in anticipation of impregnation. A lot of Japanese culture feels like China if everyone had a form of autism. I disagree. I'd say that Chinese culture is vastly different from Japan. I'd actually say that a lot of Chinese culture is more similar to America than it is to Japan. China is a gigantic country with a shit ton more population. There's very few things that are similar between China and Japan, I would say, actually. Just in terms of how people think or how they behave and stuff like that. That felt like an English translation explanation at the back of an English manga? Yes. There is no way to explain 90% of Japanese manga shit, so you have to have massive translators' notes and stuff. It's the only way. This page is still going to be a little too white, even after I put in all the grays of the dark elves. This is my biggest concern right now, as I'm trying to become a better, like a professional grade manga artist, is how to build the page between my grays and my blacks and stuff. Perhaps more shade in the background. You don't want to overuse the grays. Unfortunately, I'm just going to have to draw a little bit more details in some of these panels, is what I'm going to have to do. If you just absent-mindedly read manga, there's so much, you don't actually notice how much detail is often being drawn, but there's a shit ton of detail usually drawn just to provide gray space for the eye without making the page, without putting the gray tones on the page and just making it like actually gray. Like a lot of Dragon Ball panels, for example, will have just like little cities in the background while they're flying around in the sky that nobody actually looks at. It's only there to make your eye feel a little better while you're reading. Just give a lighter line around the characters. You mean like make my lines thinner? Wouldn't that would make the page even lighter? I don't understand what you're saying. Adding gray is a weird slippery slope. So this depends. This changes depending on the magazine. But for example, for Shukan Shonen Magazine, I remember looking up the fucking quintuplets manga because I want to see who won. Here's a good example. He has some strong blacks in the shadows and then in this tree. But altogether, the page feels way too gray, in my opinion. For one thing, all of the characters' hairs, they're all gray. And then he's using gray for both the tombstones and the fucking mass-produced trees, you know, which is a copy-paste of the tree in the middle. Or maybe it's just a screen tone. Anybody who's like, we need to use AI for backgrounds in manga, it's like we already have ways to completely eliminate our work, which is to fucking use these screen tone you can just buy and paste. It just feels too gray, don't you think? There isn't like these images are just straight up fucking gray. They're all gray. When the main character who has fully black hair is in the panel, it makes it slightly better. But yeah, this is something that's typical for Shukan Shonen mangas. Not manga, Shukan Shonen magazine. This is incredibly gray, this image right here. Fucking Reddit. Meanwhile, I have a bunch of pages that I've saved from other manga. That I look at as references, specifically for thinking about how I want to build pages and stuff. I know most of you guys don't really think about Toriko very much, for example. But Toriko has really good combination of light grays, darker grays, dark blacks, fully dark blacks, and then grays built using this type of hatching. So like, look at this this long shot, for example. They go out of their way to make sure to add these really dark blacks underneath the bottom part of this thing, and then they add a shit ton of hatching, including the dark blacks, and then they have gray hatching up here, and then they're using the tone gray for the sky, and then they have tone gray for the ocean, but then they have the white lines to indicate light and stuff like that. Now, and then the white for the clouds. This creates a very good feeling image to look at. This, I would say this shot has almost perfect gray and white balance. This is a double page right here. This one as well. You have, instead of just drawing this this part, they make sure to put the under part of this platform to make it fully black, which adds enough hard blacks on the image combined with the onomatopoeia here to make it fully balanced. Same thing for this gate. They had someone to do all this extra hard blacks and shit. So you need a bunch of assistants to do this shit. That's the problem. I can't fucking do this by hand, because all of this is just like straight up people's work. Nobody really talks about Toriko, but he was like a top tier artist when it comes to drawing everything besides attractive women. So basically the opposite of me. He was completely incapable of drawing attractive women for some reason. Made in Abyss has some very interesting environments and backgrounds, but it can be hard to understand what is being shown at times. That's because the Made in Abyss manga, the author will draw a shit ton of detail, but they don't put in these hard blacks like what I was just talking about. What they'll do is they'll draw a bunch of details, and then they'll just put a lot of gray on top of it, and you'll have a very gray page. And it's better than having a fully white page. But the author wasn't a manga author until recently. He was like a video game designer or something. So I think he was much more used to working in color than using in blacks and whites. And it's pretty common for artists who have grown up working in color to not be prepared to know when to use these hard blacks and stuff, because it's not something you often do in color. Maybe there should just be fully black pages. Now you're talking like the Bleach author who's like, I'll just have a fully white page in which it says the heart. Oh yeah, of course they're talking about Bleach and the white pages, yes. Yes, let's not assume that we can all get away with the shit that Bleach gets away with. Alright, I'm gonna make her fingernails fully black. Goth dommy mommy mode. Yeah, that looks better. Miller did an amazing work in Sin City with just 2 colors, but it's still pretty hard to read though. It's not a good... Miller's work isn't good for reading, and by reading I mean manga style reading, in which you flip through the pages quickly without thinking about the images. A lot of cartoons American comics images are made for you to like actually appreciate the image and like stare at it for a long period of time. Whereas manga is made so you're not supposed to pause on an image very long, even if it takes a shit ton of work to draw the image. You're just supposed to read it. You're not supposed to spend more than like 20 or 30 seconds per page reading. That unagi shirt MILF from Bleach Man, plop plop plop, get pregnant. As soon as Akumer sees a mother character, all he can think of is impregnating her. It is said that gorilla females, the most popular among men, the popular females are the ones that have a track record of giving birth. Experienced older females, because the gorilla understands that she is fertile and capable of bearing children. This is also the same for the anime MILF. The anime MILF is more attractive than the daughter because she's not drawn to have aged at all. She still has all the characteristics of a young female, but our brain also knows that she is capable of having children. She has all the advantages of the younger female, but none of the drawbacks. Or I just have mommy issues. It's not a psychological issue if it's anime. Slightest wrinkle near her mouth or eye. I thought of giving the dommy mommy elf the characteristic, these lines right here. This, and then like this, to age her by like a few years. However, it's elves, so no need for that. Or a mole. Yes, moles are also sexo. In my universe, elves don't age. They just live until they die. Just give her larger booba to denote they made milk once. True. Also that hairstyle. As long as they have that hairstyle, you know that she's a mother and that she's also gonna die from a tragic illness or something like that. Tell us more lore. This isn't lore. This is stuff that everybody knows. If you watch more than one anime, you will know that the mother exists. The mother of the female character exists to be sexualized and for people to be horny over. The only situation where this is not the case is weird family comedies like Sazaya-san and stuff like that. Everyone knows you severely overestimate the average person's intelligence. By everyone, I mean people in this chat, and by knows, I mean, I assume that you all watch fucking anime, so... Your specific manga lore? No. Lore is stupid. I'll talk about it later once this manga comes out and people are interested in it. I'll have some lore dumps here and there. Once, you mean she doesn't make gallons of milk for the rest of her life? based on my knowledge of hentai, I know that all females, depending on the hentai's author, are capable of producing milk no matter what stage they are in their childbearing cycle. If the hentai author is like, damn, it would be hot if she started lactating right now, then they're gonna start fucking lactating. The hentai author cannot help themselves. I'll have a relook at Toriko to study them environments. They really are pretty fucking impressive. Like, I saved a bunch of pages because I need to practice a lot of the pen work, because he's really good at using pen work to simulate, like, this cloud, for example. It just has a shit ton of pen work in it. Look at all the intricate pen work to simulate all the tree. It's not a tree, it's a mushroom cloud, but it's called a cloud tree or whatever. But you can't just do the white, you have to add a bunch of gray stuff in combination with that. And then he makes sure that the onomatopoeia is a hard black. So it's multiple stages, right? You also have the hard black, but then he makes sure to put the white around the hard black letters. You would still be able to see the letters, but it's an extra layer of contrast here, which I do with a lot of my letters as well. So this is the type of shit that you really don't fucking notice until you actually go into depth and be like, okay, how am I going to build my page? I have to look at think about all the elements. For example, this line right here is a darker, heavier black than all the other lines, right? He's denoting the cloud cover that's closer to the camera here too, and then the cloud cover in the background and shit like that. Like here, for example, there's a shit ton of line work that they use for the giant turtle. But then he makes sure that to make a more dramatic image, you have these hard blacks underneath the turtle and on the mountain and stuff. And then you use the dark gray in the background. And then you use a hard white for the magma. So a much more easier version then instead of using Toriko would be to use Hunter x Hunter, where Togashi, if you examine the images in Hunter x Hunter, Togashi actually does a shit ton of work with very, very simple tools, and it's still readable. He just has a lot of just straight up black backgrounds. It's like the less obvious way of cutting work time than Bleach, in which he'll just have a black background, and then all the characters have by default a lot of white clothing. Line art makes people kneel? Yeah. Line art is hard as fuck. It's also extremely time consuming. Painting in general is easier than line art, I would say. At least when it comes to like that mid-tier level in which you don't really understand the forms of objects, but you add a bunch of pretty colors. This is why when like boomers retire and they're like, I'm gonna take up painting, they just draw like pretty landscapes and shit. Your ability to do line art also directly affected by age and physical health. I don't think it's that bad. Apparently Oda's line art has gotten extremely squiggly recently because like his eyesight is getting worse and he needs to get LASIK surgery or something. But I like Oda's squiggly line art that we see right now, honestly. I think it looks pretty good. The most important thing is to have a bunch of assistants to draw shit for you. He's on a break again, isn't he? He has to think up the secret of the world. Guys, are we still waiting for not Einstein to announce what the incredible secret is? Did he actually say it or not? He's announced some of it. Spoilers, what did he say? Yes, I definitely want spoilers. I can't be fucking bothered. Also, I'm not expecting it to be anything interesting. He said the world is going to sink into the water. Okay. That's so shocking, guys. I can't believe Oda has finally revealed. Secret is devil fruits have cum in them. People have been eating devil's cum. Oh no. Not eating cum. Think of all the people who would never want to eat cum because that would be totally gay. And we're tricked. Can we get a doujin of Robin just gorging on devil fruit then? I have difficulty fighting doujins of Robin that doesn't involve her fucking other girls with futa cocks. Robin don't have a futa cock challenge. Difficulty impossible, unfortunately. You missed the tan Robin. I'm not too particular about the tan versus non-tan debate, but I just liked her in her Miss All Sunday get-up the most. With the cowboy hat. I just want the cowboy hat back. She had a brief period in which she was wearing the cowboy hat after they were done with the Alabaster arc. But after that she hasn't really gone back to it. I spend more than 30 seconds reading One Piece pages when I try to figure out which 10 characters I'm looking at. You would not believe how many people complain about One Piece right now online, on Japanese internet, about how much time it takes to read because there's too many characters, there's too much shit on screen, and there's too much dialogue. Which really shows you how Japanese expect their manga to be readable at a specific pace, and once it gets slower than a specific pace, it's considered to be like you know, inefficient or not going. It's supposed to be, manga is supposed to be read at the same pace as you would watch a movie or something. So if it takes you, if you spend too much time lingering on pages, it feels, I don't know, it feels awkward. Honestly, even this current manga that I'm drawing right now probably has too much dialogue. I think I need to cut the dialogue by about 20%. Not sure. I'll have to reread it once I'm actually done with it. I won't be cutting anything from this version because the voice acting is already done on it, so I can't fucking fuck around with it anymore. I just have to finish it. But for chapter 2 onward, I have to think about the pacing and stuff a little bit more. With something like Berserk, I'd feel bad for turning pages at the usual pace. Yeah, but it also feels extremely awesome. I started reading Berserk on a fucking pirated website in college, and I was reading it at a breakneck pace, and I was just like, holy shit, this feels so good. It feels like I'm actually like biting down on Miura's neck and drinking his life force by just like blazing through these pages that he had to suffer for hours and hours and days just to draw a single page. I'm just flipping through it, just clicking left. This feels so good, and I'm giving him no money. This is fucking awesome. I'm literally killing the guy. This guy, he actually sacrificed his life to make this, and I'm just like flipping through it. Eventually I'll probably buy all the volumes, but yeah, I wasn't doing that in college, of course. You can't have 30 manga volumes in your dorm room. If only Guts would rearrange Griffith's guts, the world would be saved. Yes. Yet another one of those situations where the only correct answer was gay sex. It's weird how often this shows up in our lives, in which tragedy can only be averted through large amounts of gay sex, but yeah, it's another one of those. Sometimes that's the only answer. I started to buy the deluxe edition, but they're expensive as fuck, especially for a poorer country. I mean, you may as well wait for it to be completed. They'll probably have, like, new published versions coming out once it's done. Homoerotic tension is both the cause and solution of many issues. I forced myself to finish watching The Notebook last night. And it felt really weird watching it, and I couldn't understand why. And then I realized it was because it was a female character with two men, and instead, and the men were actually like fighting over the female character, or they were caring about her, and instead of her being like a plot device for homoerotic tension, with the male-on-male relationship being the true focus of the story, which is usually what happens in the situation in Japanese anime right now. It's like, yeah, there's a female character and the guys are like, you made her cry, you're not worthy for her, and they get in a fight or something. But the real conflict is the sweaty homoerotic tension between the guys. So it's awkward when that doesn't happen. Women truly don't need to exist in our media except as a plot device for gay sex. Describing Challengers. Is that what Challengers is about? This is just a really common trope, by the way. For most stories. It's what both men want and women want. An American romantic sports drama. You are stronger than me? Yeah, it was pretty fucking boring, not gonna lie. Alright, here's how we're gonna darken the page. First, we're gonna go here. And we're going to add some extra line work that indicates the ground. This is a good way to add a line-based grays on the page. If you look at Dragon Ball pages, this is how Toriyama maintained a fast schedule, but also created readable pages. He just had a lot of like ground-related shading that you wouldn't actually notice when you were reading Dragon Ball. I'm gonna do this first. He just had a lot of little details on the ground. Like just little rocks and shit. Was Gosling hot? Not really. Ryan Gosling isn't that hot, guys. I know he's sort of our stand-in as fellow incels, but we can do better. He's no Burt Reynolds. I need female-centric stories occasionally to make me appreciate my gay stuff. I like how Hystrixia is being like, yes, I consume gay content 90% of the time, but sometimes I need women having romantic relations with heteronormative men as a palate cleanser. By the way, in The Notebook, the mother, at the end of, near the end of the movie, the mother drives her daughter out to like the local laborer, I don't know what it is, like gravel pit mine, and she's like, you see that guy shoveling gravel over there? I used to be in love with him before I met your father. As sort of a parallel to why she was making sure the female wouldn't marry Ryan Gosling. And she talked about how much she loved him, and I was like, okay, I think you're trying to make a point about something, but the guy who's like wearing overalls and has like a fucking buff dad bod and a mustache and is all like caked in sweat right now, I don't think you're making a really good argument on why you made the correct decision to marry the non-hot guy. Because he's looking fucking hot right now. The guy was looking like, I don't know, like a gay Bada comic main character. Yeah, it made me think of you, Hystrixia. I was like, if Hystrixia was watching this scene, looking at this hot guy laboring in the sun, covered in sweat, she'd be like, let's go! Gengoro type, basically, yeah. They don't show any close-ups on him, but I was just like, I don't know if this is the right message that you should be giving your daughter. Also, The Notebook is one of those kind of horrifying stories from a male perspective because it shows you into the female psyche of how like women can just straight up justify cheating on you. Just being like, I had to follow my heart. It's like, remember guys, even if like you're rich and successful and you give your wife everything, she's ready to just like throw it all away and have an affair at any point if she gets horny. Don't forget that. At least it is in my romantic fiction, that's for sure. This might be a little too much detail. Let's erase some. I don't like this shape here. Or these rocks. Maybe we erase them. Yeah, that's fine. And now we're gonna go and make this part full black. When I say that Hunter x Hunter has a good way of bypassing having to draw details, this is specifically what I'm talking about. Is you use a lot of black backgrounds, which makes the character pop. How can these elves dungeoning with these high heels? What are the benefits of adventuring with high heels? They're not really adventuring in this situation, but the answer is always magic. Drow elf dommy mommy is a much higher level than everybody else, which means she can get away with wearing sluttier and sluttier clothing, just like your MMORPG character wearing a chainmail bikini with glowing wings and shit. The more powerful your magic is, the more of your stat points you can use to wear impractical clothing. This is true in the real world as well. If you want to wear your Balenciaga then you have to have massive stats in, you know, the money stat and attractiveness stat. Plebs have to wear practical clothing. She's also probably a charisma caster, so the sexier she looks, the more powerful the magic is, probably. I mean, you may as well ask me, or ask Araki why this JoJo character's shirt is full of holes for some reason. What was the JoJo character in Part 5's name whose shirt was full of holes? Who had the deep purple stand? I can't remember his name. It was just like a normal suit, except it was fucking full of holes. Was it Fugo? Yeah, I think it was Fugo now that I think about it. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, he's just like, I'm just gonna wear a suit except it's full of holes. It was not deep purple, it was purple haze, right. Purple something. It's Italian fashion, okay. I mean, that would make sense if he didn't do that in the next other parts as well. Elf mom stopped consuming melon because she's a Mormon now. You'll find out in the next page, which I won't show you. Please subscribe to my Patreon, where you can read my manga. Purple Haze, the stand so strong, Araki had to write him out of the manga. Yeah. Also, the editor was like, this is kind of too dark. We don't want you to be fighting your previous friends and shit. That's depressing. Araki was like, sure, that's fine. Araki doesn't give a fuck about the plot, so he's not gonna get in a fight with the editors over like how the plot should go. He's just like, yeah, whatever. I am subscribed, $5. Well, then you will find out once the manga is ready, which will be relatively soon, considering this is page 30 or so. I still have to finish a bunch of the pages before it, but they're mostly done as well. So we're approaching the end, as hard as it is to believe, because it seems like I've been doing this shit forever. The plot barely matters in JoJo, it's all about the insane fights. It's also not about actually like the specifics of the insane fights, it's just about the general feeling of everything. Being like, what? What's going on? Oh my god, my tongue has turned into a fish! That's so bizarre, JoJo! I'm having a bizarre adventure! Oh my god! Oh my god, JoJo, everything's so bizarre! Not very artist-like to actually finish a project. Your kind usually loses interest halfway in and then starts something new. I have a secret to tell you. This is fucking chapter 1. It's just introducing the characters. So it's not finished at all. It's only the beginning. There's still plenty of time for me to abandon it halfway. We're not even close to actually being done. I mean, think about how many mangas out there that don't ever get finished in general. Like, done by professional people with a bunch of volumes out because they get canceled or whatever. Yeah. We ain't in the clear at all, boys. This is just like, this is literally the starting line. Fuck my life. But I have to do this or else I won't actually get better. The only way to get better at something is doing that actual thing. For all the art tutorials who are like, you should draw 7,000 boxes. No, don't draw 7,000 boxes. Draw the thing that you actually want to draw and go from there. What if you want to draw boxes? If your goal in life is to become the best box artist on the planet, go ahead and do that. Some people just want to get really good at drawing boxes. I assume those are the people that can only coom once they see a box. The Taimanin box coomers. The unsuccessful attempt at making boxing woman into a fetish that never caught on. Diona is not a boxing. I don't mean boxing as in the sport boxing. I'm making this conversation based on the assumption that you all have played Taimanin Asaki Part 3, in which Yatsu Murasaki gets turned into a box, a cube, a literal cube. She gets turned into furniture, basically. And she's like, no, don't touch my corners. They're very sexually sensitive. And then all of the ugly bastards are like, oh, this cube is extremely good for fucking. And they have sex with a cube version of her. Lilith, Black Lilith was like, this will definitely catch on. We're creating the newest porn trend, and it did not catch on at all. It's only been done in there. I've never seen any art of women turned into cubes after that. There weren't any other hentai artists who were like, yeah, I should also cube this character. Cubing is so fucking hot. There are some weirdos in the West that like similar things. I mean, in the West we have other stuff like inflation. I don't see much inflation content on the Japanese side of the internet. It seems to be much more Western focused fetish. Need to go to the 5th dimension to find a life form willing to get off on cubing woman. I jacked off to cubed Murasaki once, but it was in despite of her being a cube, not because she was a cube. I was just like, I'll just ignore the cube aspect. visual novels always have weird stuff like shit tubes. It's the ruling elite getting us used to the concept of shit tubes. So in the future, when we actually have to use shit tubes, they're like, we'll be prepared for it mentally. Furries in the pre-modern form were just dudes that wanted to fuck animal women. I mean, how about just like animals in general? Not necessarily women. They just want to fuck. They just want to stick their dick in animals, which is a long tradition of humanity if we think about it. People just like, yeah, I want to fuck that goat. When men see a hole, we can't help ourselves. We must insert. There's some Colombian village where the boys all fuck donkeys. Is a donkey show involving a woman having sex with a donkey? Is that how it works? I heard that this was big back in the day, in the 90s, when you could still go to Mexico for summer break and see a donkey show instead of getting murdered by the cartels or whatever happens in Mexico nowadays. A woman sucking off a donkey. How difficult is it to make a donkey ejaculate? I feel like it's probably not that difficult. How does that even fit? I mean, she's sucking it off. She's not inserting it inside her, I think. She's probably just, it's probably just like 90% just a hand job. I find it very interesting that mules have cocks that are larger than both horses or donkeys. By crossbreeding the two animals, you create an extremely powerful sex machine with massive cock, except it can't reproduce in most cases, right? What a weird world we live in. It's weird that there's like species that are close enough to reproduce for one generation, but too dissimilar so that they can't reproduce over multiple generations, like donkeys and horses, or tigers and lions and stuff, if you think about it. It would be like if we could fuck a gorilla and have a human-gorilla hybrid that has a larger cock than both the human or the gorilla, but then it wouldn't be able to reproduce. I had to accept the reality that farmers that raise animals have to tend to horse and bull cocks and deal with sperm. Same with dog breeders. You're making it sound as if that's like a negative. That's like the highlight of the job, dude. Taking out the horse on a hole, and when it's about to come, you give them the old switcheroo so they don't actually get to come inside the female horse. They're like, what the fuck, bro? It's like, sorry, your semen is too valuable, Mr. Racehorse. We have to sell your frozen semen for like $500,000 per shot. You don't get to inseminate this horse. They have a fake Vaju that collects it, yes. It's literally a horse on a hole. He just like me, for real, for real. He's just coming in that on a hole. How often they milk their horses? Do we have any farmers in chat? That's not something I'm well aware of. As much as necessary, as much as the white women are interested, I assume. Human-sized horse on a hole. There was a copy pasta on 4chan about a guy who was claiming that female horses' mares are built for a human cock. That the mare horse penises are too long for the mare to feel pleasure, whereas human penises are just the right size. I was just like, LMAO. It was posted on V like every day for months. I was just like, there's some guy who really is into the idea of having sex with female horses. Someone probably already tested. Someone, more like a ton of people probably. Guys will stick their penis inside vacuum cleaners with rotating blades inside them and stuff. Of course they're gonna stick their penis inside a horse vagina. Apparently Japanese fishermen traditionally, when they were out at sea, had a lot of success with manta ray pussy. If you Google images of manta ray vagina, you'll see what I mean. It's extremely attractive looking. No, I don't think I will. I'm just saying, guys. Internationally, the common thread is that any hole is a goal. Do you think it's true that AIDS was spread because guys couldn't help themselves and had to fuck monkeys? Or is that just like, just a theory? It seems like a pretty plausible theory if you ask me. On the other hand, you can get a lot of diseases without having sex with animals. Just because it's an STD in the human side doesn't mean it got spread initially by having sex with the chimps. Unfortunately, very likely true. I guess it's still better off than the Chinese who have to eat everything. Chinese meat markets that are just like, yeah, pangolin. We all need to eat the fucking pangolin or bat or whatever. There's all those conspiracy theorists that are like, the COVID came from the Chinese lab. It escaped from a Chinese lab. But whether it's the lab or meat markets, both are just like equally stupid if you ask me. China and its fucking culture of having to eat literally everything, including stuff that has horrible infectious diseases. They eat bats in Africa too. Bats, flying rats. Some animals just have too many diseases to eat them, guys. You have to stop. You should be like normal Japanese people and just eat your poisonous blowfish that will fucking kill you if you make any mistakes in the way in which you remove all of their poisonous organs. At least that way you're not gonna infect a shit ton of other people, you're just gonna kill yourself. Brazilian man died from blowfish some time ago. In general, when people are like, I know how to remove the poisonous ovaries from this blowfish, surely I will not make a mistake, that they always end up paying for it. How hard can it be? It's like, yeah, about that. The closest thing to exotic animal I've had was rabbits, I think. I had some horse when I was traveling in Germany once. It was just slightly tough red meat. It wasn't particularly special. Japanese have something called basashi, which is raw horse. Because of course they do, because Japanese have to eat everything fucking raw. Like, oh cool, another opportunity to get parasites because we have to eat everything fucking raw. People need to stop psyoping themselves into believing that shit tastes better raw. It doesn't. Cook that shit, dumb motherfuckers. Generally, stuff tastes better cooked. I've had bull testicles in soup. It was really good. Uh-huh. Japanese, oh boy, raw cum. Yeah, I've seen that video as well. if you said that on Twitter, you would call the woke Asian hater. It's better to eat stuff cooked. I think I would be attacked by all the foodies who have a shit ton of buyer's remorse for wasting all of their money on steak tartare for like $70. This is what I say about getting my burgers well done, taste better cooked. I feel like burgers taste the same no matter what way they're cooked. Or at least anything above medium, because I'm not eating rare or some shit. You really have to be careful with burgers, unlike steaks, because it's all ground up. So that means like the particles that possibly have shit in them, you're gonna hit them. That's why they have a higher cooking temperature than steak. I thought you couldn't eat undercooked ground meat. It has to be at least like pink, hot in the middle. You probably shouldn't. If it's like a tiny bit pink, you might be okay, but in general you should be going for well done, cooked through. Bird stuff has the highest cooking temperature. Everything that's related to cooking temperature just is related to how much shit the animal is covered in when they get killed in the slaughterhouse. So because birds in America are often kept in like these horrible small chicken coops, the amount of shit that they're covered in is way higher than, for example, the inside of a cow. The one thing my mother isn't good at cooking, she's generally a pretty good cook, but the one thing she's bad at is steaks, because she's a real well-done believer. Steaks get kind of rubbery if you overcook them. You have to be pretty adamant about eating them at like medium or medium well. Once it gets to that well done area, it's just not very good, unfortunately. At least if you're going for like a large cut. If it's like thinly sliced beef, it's not an issue. It's like a texture issue, right? So you don't want to overcook it. I generally just order my steaks at medium because I figure that pretty much every proper restaurant can fucking cook a steak medium. But when you start like playing around with medium rare or medium well, you're kind of getting into that zone where it might be over or undercooked, which can suck. So I just order medium usually. Taking my chances with medium rare steak. If I wanted to eat leather, I'd bootlick. Unfortunately, in the modern day and age, bootlicking is also expensive if you're paying the right dominatrix. That's an expensive option that you have to pay into. Bootlicking will cost you an extra $300. Have you seen the people that cook steaks under hot tap water? By people, I assume you mean Redditors. Is that like an actual foodie shit, or is it just like people being that way for the meme power? I know that there was a person who cooked his chicken in Tylenol. No, it wasn't Tylenol, it was like NyQuil or something. The green shit. And he fucking literally died. Or maybe he didn't die, maybe he survived, I can't remember. But I think he died, yeah. See, now we have to look that shit up. NyQuil chicken death. Jesus Christ, it's a fucking New York Times article. FDA warning on NyQuil chicken. Cooking poultry in cold medicine is a bad, dangerous idea that few people seem to be aware of until the government warning attracted media coverage. This is 2022, this article. Some people on TikTok, Twitter, and other sites discovered years-old videos and images of people pouring blue-green NyQuil, a nighttime cold medicine, over chicken breasts in a pan or pot. It was, to be clear, a dangerous idea that no one should do. It could lead to consuming unsafe levels of the product, and over-the-counter medicine should be used only as directed. But it was not clear if people were actually trying it themselves in significant numbers. There has been no reports or hospitalizations or deaths related to NyQuil chicken, a tongue-in-cheek recipe that first surfaced in the notorious 4chan forum. I saw a something emu, like this sort of medical YouTuber, talking about a guy who either almost died or died eating NyQuil chicken. But if the New York Times looked into this, maybe the YouTube video was incorrect. I don't know how often this is a thing. Chubby Emu, yeah. He's one of the many YouTube videos people that I subscribe to but don't actually ever watch the content. People are worried in this article about the Streisand effect. Once it has a certain degree of volume or attention, basically you are making this more of a real thing than it truly is. You know what, guys? If our teenagers are too stupid to not eat Tide Pods, then maybe they deserve to die. Don't want to be too harsh here, but if you can't be fucking smart enough to just not eat the fucking Tide Pod, then maybe you shouldn't be alive, maybe. You know, just throwing it out there. I can't believe the quintessential quintuplets isn't a harem ending. What's the point of even having 5 identical twins if you're not going to have sex with all of them at the same time? What are we talking about? We're talking about NyQuil chicken and quintuplets at the same time because I still have the quintuplet images ready because I was using them as a reference for how not to build a manga page because it has too much gray in it. I hope the quintuplets eat NyQuil chicken. They will. They can. You just have to become a good enough artist to draw the fan art of the quintuplets eating fucking NyQuil chicken. You can do it. Never got the hype between quintuplets. I mean, as anime coomers, we just need a constant stream of cute anime girl content. And once we finish consuming one cute anime girl content, we move on to the next one. I feel like Japanese people having more than one child is unrealistic. Well, the mother wasn't exactly choosing to have quintuplets, right? If you actually have quintuplets, unless you're going to straight up fucking abort them, you're stuck with having 5 kids. There's not much you can do about that shit. You're just like, oh lord, they're coming. Because he gave each one a personality so they present an actual choice once the quintuplet sex gets boring. Ironically, the quintuplets in the anime manga have more personality than actual twins in real life. There were triplets in my school. They were ginger triplets who wanted to be models. And they had that model body type. So you can only imagine the level of lack of personality they had. It's like the triple combo. Identical twins, in this case triplets, plus ginger, plus shallow model personality. They dropped out of the school, by the way. Makima, but please don't date girls like that IRL. I don't think there are girls like that IRL. I think Makima is a figment of the author's horny, masochistic imagination. It's probably pretty hard to find a woman who's going to treat you like a dog, honestly. I know this is breaking the hearts of all the masochists out there, but I don't think they're in ample supply. I want to pick Kobeni up and shake her vigorously. Yes, she already has brain damage, so it would probably only be an improvement. That's the good thing about Chainsaw Man. There's different women for different people. The masochists get Makima and the sadists get Kobeni, and we just get to bully the shit out of that loser. It's actually easy to find Makimas if you're trying to avoid them. Not if they're your middle manager, which is basically what she is in Chainsaw Man, a middle manager. I feel like anybody who chooses to become a middle manager is probably a fucking sociopath based on my very limited amount of experience in the world. So I think it's actually pretty easy to run into that type of sociopathic people. Because nobody wants a middle manager job unless they get an insane amount of pleasure out of commanding other human beings and making their lives worse. Makima's like living in the HR department. I think you can get the Makima experience just by like working at a local Subway, and then your shift manager is like, "You fucking losers, you better listen to me." I had a manipulative, lying bitch, insane sociopath female as my middle manager when I was working as a lifeguard. And she was basically a Makima, except she wasn't attractive and she wasn't going to let you grab her tits. And even if I did grab her boobs, I would never get any kind of sexual pleasure out of it because, again, she was obese and unattractive. Anyone tell you sound like King Cobra JFS? I don't know who King Cobra JFS is, but I've been told I sound like Moist Critical, which is probably pretty similar. We're all just different flavors of the internet, aren't we? It's in his perpetual tiredness. I'm not actually that tired. I've been talking to you guys for 2.5 hours. Doesn't that disqualify me from being considered to be tired? If you just find a girl who loves you, she'll do weird shit like treating you like a dog. Please avoid manipulative bitches. I mean, it's not like, what's his name? Denji asked her to treat him like a dog. He just wants any kind of, like, female contact. She was the one who wanted to treat him like a dog, if you think about it. It's the author who wants women to treat him like a dog. Not necessarily the main character. The flat effect, you mean? That's the autism. Autism speaks. Literally. That's the stream. The autism streak speaks stream. I should make sure I add a autism and ADHD tags to the Twitch stream, so it makes it so that it's more difficult for them to ban me. Please, Mr. Twitch, you must understand you can't ban me because I have autism. Do it? Yeah. Except I don't really care if they ban me, so I'm not going to. Wouldn't get banned. I've seen many streams with tags like that. I'm not saying I'd get banned for the tags. I'm saying that it prevents you from getting banned. This is a very common strategy that a shit ton of Twitch streamers use. You tag yourself as ADHD or autism or gender, whatever. Anything that classifies you in a victim minority status. And it makes it harder for these powers to be to ban you. If you're a woman, you don't have to put on the extra tags because you're automatically in the most powerful of all minorities on Twitch, the boob streamer minority. But if not, you have to make sure you put on like an ADHD tag. Yeah, Tourette's. When I drop the gamer words, it's because I have the Tourette's, guys. It's not because I'm angry at playing Counter-Strike and losing. When PewDiePie dropped the gamer word, was it like he was specifically angry or he just like couldn't help himself? It just slipped out. The bridge incident. He was playing PUBG, right? He was mad. Well, if he was mad, I guess it's only natural. Who hasn't dropped an N-bomb while streaming in front of thousands of people? I don't know. I stopped watching him around 2014. I'm shocked that you actually had the stomach to watch him at all in any context, Hystrixia. He seems like too cheerful and child-oriented to ever be a content creator for someone like you. Baal hasn't. I'm not actually angry. I'm just disappointed in you all. Instead of dropping the gamer word, I'll just ban every single person in stream. Now that's the real way to deal with your anger. Is just being like, God, I've had a really bad day, guys. Which is why every single one here Everybody who types anything in chat is just gonna get perma-banned. How old are you? Oh, are you asking him, not me? I'm 37, by the way. I'm old as fuck. For those of you who don't know. People are always like shocked at how old I am at this point. Because, you know, you're not supposed to be using the internet after you're 30. You're supposed to be impregnating your wife or something. I don't know what 30-year-olds do normally. You're not supposed to be living in your mother's house and drawing anime coom, that's for sure, but, you know, it's a life. It's a pretty good life considering how bad some other people's jobs are. Just a year older than me. You're older than you, 1.5 years younger than LeBron. I still don't understand LeBron's age. In some ways he feels like he should be like 10 years older than me, or like 5 years younger than me. I don't really understand how old he is. Everyone's telling Hystrixia happy birthday, but I refuse because I don't celebrate birthdays. Birthdays are for chumps. Fuck birthdays. Also, fuck Christmas too. It's weird that I'm more than a decade younger than you, not gonna lie. Don't worry. My emotional, mental state is the same age as you. I'm emotionally still a teenager, so... For someday, I will find out your birthday and send you Kroger Oreos. I fucking hate birthdays. It's a stupid tradition. We're not gonna do that shit, okay? What's wrong with birthdays, LMAO? I don't want to be forced to celebrate shit once per year just because I'm getting older. Birthdays are for children who have limited opportunities for parents to buy them stuff, or limited opportunities for them to buy them stuff on their own because they don't have money. So they have to convince their parents twice per year to buy them the shit that they actually want. Once you're a grown adult, you don't need to celebrate that shit. You buy the stuff that you want on your own, out of your own salary, when you want it. It's an antisocial thing, I guess. People like having a birthday as an excuse to like meet people and have them all coddle them and celebrate shit. But I don't want to meet anyone, so it's no secret why I don't like birthdays, I guess. I just don't want to be around anyone or do anything. I feel like anything that's worth doing is worth doing on a non-special day and just do it. Whether it's like starting a diet or whatever. You don't need New Year's resolutions, you don't need Christmas. If something is worth buying or showing respect to someone or whatever, you should just do it on a daily basis. Doesn't want the attention, not just the attention, I don't want to have to socialize with people. I fucking hate parties, not gonna lie. All these fucking cunts showing up at my house with cake and gifts and shit. Fuck off. I only like using my birthday as an excuse to get out of board meetings. C word? We're not allowed to say cunt now. God, we have so many stupid rules about what we're allowed to say or not. The Brits say cunt all the time. How can I watch football? Old man who goes, get off my lawn? Yeah. Also, I hate lawns as well. Lawns are a fucking psyop. It's boomer bullshit culture. The world would be way better off if none of us had lawns. They're extremely bad for the environment. We should just plant tall native grasses so all the bugs can be free and happy instead of lawns. Lawns have been destroying the environment by depriving insects and small animals of places to hide. Exactly. The boomers have somehow convinced themselves that extremely short grass is somehow like nature because it's green or something. So they're like golf courses are part of nature, even though they're extremely short grass that offers no cover and no ability for anything except a specific grass to grow, and it's covered in fucking pesticides which have horrible runoff and kill a bunch of other stuff downstream as well. Once again, the boomers making the world a way worse place. They started that shit in like the 1800s, I think. Yeah, they started in the 1800s, but the boomers really embraced it. I'm pretty sure we didn't have like Roundup Ready cans that you attach to your hose in the yard so you can fucking spray Monsanto brand pesticides all over the lawn back in the 1800s. English and French in the 1700s. It's okay, or not, maybe not okay, but like it's different in England where they actually have like native grasses that can be used in a lawn in some amount. In America, you have fucking green-ass lawns in the middle of Arizona in the fucking desert. They're pumping their groundwater to nothing just so they can have their stupid-ass lawn culture and like 1,300 golf courses. All the fuckers who live in Arizona who are like, oh no, we're running out of water. I'm like, yeah, you think? Why the fuck do you think you're running out of water? You're in a fucking desert, you stupid motherfuckers. I hope you all die of dehydration. Whatever water crisis they have in the western states, they can all fuck off. You're literally in a desert, you dumbasses. Versailles was known for its lawn, specifically to flex that they didn't need gardens. They should have gardens instead of lawns. Although both are probably like water intensive as hell. Whatever. All of the people in western states should go live in the uninhabited forest in the cold north full of cryptid. I mean, isn't that what they're doing around Seattle? I guess you need to go farther north. There is cryptid in the Arizona desert, I'm pretty sure, as well. But they're not doing good enough to just murder all the boomers, sadly. If only the cryptids would just kill all the boomers inhabiting Florida and Arizona. Gardens are an artistic way of raping nature. True. So is agriculture, by the way, but we kind of need it to survive. Agriculture is just turning nature into a factory, basically. I'd hang out with Mothman. He sounds pretty chill. You think you're gonna get to hang out with Mothman, but it's the Chupacabra instead, and it starts sucking your goat blood. When do we start calling cryptids cryptids? I feel like that's a relatively recent term. I don't think we were using the term for cryptids back when I was a kid. I remember there was an acronym UMA, UMA, for unidentified marine animal. For shit like the Loch Ness Monster and stuff. It will suck something. I don't want the Chupacabra to suck my dick, Hystrixia. That's not what the Chupacabra is for. There's other creatures in Mexico that can do that for you, like humans. You don't need to go and find a cryptid to do it. What if the Chupacabra was a cute monster girl? You've just described like the last 100 years of Japanese content, by the way. It's all just like, but what if we had sex with that yokai? My favorite cryptid is the Japanese Tsuchinoko, which you might know from some Japanese RPGs and video games. It's literally just a fat snake. It's a thick snake. The snake be thick. It's probably like some Japanese person saw a snake that was really fat because it was trying to digest something that was too big for it to swallow. And they're like, holy shit, what is that fat snake doing? And it became like cryptid lore in Japan. It's pretty funny. It's just a fucking thick ass snake. Heckin' chonker snake, yeah. Feels good, man. I want a chonker snake. I didn't know, I've never had a pet snake, but I didn't know that they eat so little. You just feed them like one mouse like every 2 weeks or something. It's super low. I thought like it would be a big deal that you would have to be constantly refilling your frozen bag of mice that you have to feed it, but actually they don't eat very often. Depends on what kind of snake. The Tsuchinoko eats a shit ton of mice. I don't know what the Tsuchinoko eats. Reticulated pythons eat a bit more, yeah. It's not like having a herbivore animal which has to be constantly like birds that are going to be constantly eating and shitting nonstop. The snake is efficient. It just sits around and snicks. Don't sexualize the snake. And yet I will. I feel like snakes are the most effeminate of animals. And then cats are coming second, which is why we have so many snake girls and cat girls in our anime media. The gorilla is the most masculine, which is why there's no gorilla female monster. Snakes eating like once every 2 weeks, but spontaneously combusting if the temperature is off by 2 degrees. What, like their lamp temperature or like the food temperature? The big problem of having reptiles is you have to pay a lot of electrical bills. Electrical bills, not builds. If you're not living in like Arizona or something. There's a gorilla lady in Mushoku Tensei, yeah, but there's also a fat cat tat lady, and everyone wants to have sex with her. So I think we know who the winner of this competition is. Everyone trying to have sex with the cat girl. Jellyfish would be a cool pet. I don't really understand the appeal of aquariums. No, I get the appeal, I guess, but I wouldn't be going out of my way. Aquariums are expensive as fuck. Unless you're just like a singular goldfish or something. Octopus would be fun. Octopus would be fun, but I can't handle pets that are gonna die in like 2 years. Shit is too depressing. Especially if it's like super smart. What are you gonna do if like your octopus is like giga smart and you're like, this is my best friend, and then it's just like gonna fucking die in 2 years? It's just like, Jesus Christ, my best friend is dead. At least if it's just like a gerbil or something, I know that I'm not gonna be too sad when it's dead. Gerbils aren't exactly like, you know, high intelligence creatures, so... Octopus are smarter than half this chat? Unfortunately, yes. If you taught octopus about how women can be turned into 3D cubes, they'd probably jack off to it. That's how smart they are. Don't get rats then? Yeah. My rat is my best friend, and then he dies in a year and a half. It's like, what the fuck? Instead, get a gray parrot, and then you have to have kids just so they can inherit your fucking parrot. My gray parrot and my Galapagos tortoise. Also my blind Norwegian shark, or whatever the fuck it is, that lives like 500 years. Don't tell all the Ratatouille fans. Also, don't tell all the Ratatouille fans that that rat is like fucking filthy and is gonna give them all sorts of diseases. Also, don't tell all the Ratatouille fans that Ratatouille is not a very tasty food. It's just like fucking vegetables. I like the actual dish though. Meh. Really depends on the sauce. Yeah, I guess that goes for like everything. The sous chef is the sous chef for a reason, I guess. The truth is, good vegetables are good on their own. If they're fresh. My mother has a garden in our front lawn, so as summer comes, it's just going to be vegetable time every day. Except we no longer have the outdoor cat to murder the rabbits. So I'm expecting there's going to be way fewer vegetables this year because we have a shit ton of rabbits like everybody else. With no predator to keep them away. I see them frolicking around on a lawn, just waiting for my mother to add vegetables so they can eat it. Still getting shishito's? Maybe. I don't know what my mother plans. I don't think shishito's stay. I think you have to replant them. Alright. That's it. Ending stream now. I've streamed long enough. 3 hours, 5:50. Gotta watch NBA. See you around, guys. 3 hour stream. Yeah, I think it's better for me to be doing the finishing process on stream. Which is the part in which I add grays and stuff. Because, like, I know I have to add grays to the skin of all these dark elves and stuff. And that's pretty fucking mindless work, so that's what I'm going to be doing on stream for most of the time. I used to be doing the line work and stuff on stream, but I think it's better if I do the finishing on stream. See you around, guys. Good night. Good night.